it with you. Oh gosh, I was just noticing that I didn't have my technology all set up proper. So I'm a tech rookie and I'm getting better all the time. And I love it because it allows me to share with you the magic of plant medicine and help you learn to use plants and herbs safely and effectively and not get succumb to all of the marketing mumbo jumbo out there. You can really start learning about what's going on in these plants. So as I was starting with today, we're going to talk about one of my absolute best friends. And this absolute best friend is going to become your best friend in life too. It lives in your yard. I darn near guarantee you. If it's not directly in your yard, it's in your neighbor's yard. Maybe some of your parents tried to kill it. It was known as a weed, which is what makes it so great because it is such readily available medicine. And it's commonly called plantain. And I am not talking about the banana plantain. I am talking about the herb Plantago major. You can also use Plantago lanceolata. However, my favorite is the major. And it's this beautiful green little weed that grows in sidewalk cracks. It grows on the sides of the roads. It grows in places where we as humans have disturbed the land. It's often even known as white man's footprint. And I use this plant in a lot of ways. I am so grateful. My daughter knows it really well. It's a really good wound healer. It's called plantain. I said that already, but it's a great wound healer. And when my daughter's at the park playing with her friends, ever since she was 3, she was there one time, a friend got an ouchie and she was like, oh no. And I watch her and she runs right over to the plantain in the park and she just picks it up, takes it over to her friend and puts it on her friend's ouchie in the most sweet, loving, compassionate of ways. And at that moment, I felt I had achieved the ultimate success of parenthood. You know, that she was 3 and all the other life things happened and, you know, parenthood, it's not easy. But when your kid knows at 3 how to heal their friend's ouchie at the park, oh, that's so something to be proud of. So I use plantain in my essential salve because it's a great wound healer. It's kind of what's called demulcent and cooling. It is rich in this constituent called allantoin, so it helps to regenerate skin cells and other mucosal tissue cells. And that's why we're going to talk about it for your gut today. I love plantain for gut health, especially in the US where I live and most of other parts of the world too. So many of us are suffering from leaky gut. So that's when like your gut is a bit permeable, but when it gets too far apart, some of various pathogens and other things that aren't supposed to be in your bloodstream exit the gut wall through these tight junctures that are no longer so tight, and they cause inflammation. And you can see this in the form of eczema or psoriasis or consistent bloating or constipation, abdominal pain and discomfort, all kinds of things, a lot of various diseases. It all happens in the gut. Oh, I see there's a comment here. Oh, yay, Carrie, you're here. I was on the wrong page for comments. So yeah, our gut health is super important, and keeping it in check helps for other herbal medicines to get to your body and in through your bloodstream and everywhere it needs to be so much better, including the nutrients from the food that you bring into your body. So the reason I love plantain so much, there are many, but for your gut in particular, is that wound healing property. So our gut wall is very much like our skin in its mucosal tissue ways, and the plantain is basically being used topically when you take it into your body. And you can do this via a tea, plantain in a powder. You could put it into some applesauce. You could do anything like that. Another cool thing about plantain is it is very related to psyllium. If you've ever heard of psyllium, it's a bulking laxative, and it has the ability to extract up to 10 times its weight in toxins and help you eliminate them. Hold on, I'm on Instagram live also, and I just saw that my phone was saying that I'm connected to something that I don't even have on. So I figured I'd get it out in case people can't hear me there. So yeah, that is one of the great reasons I love plantain for your gut so much. It's also a great astringent. So that means it's going to help tone and tighten your tissue cells, which could really come in handy if you are dealing with, say, diarrhea. It can bring that all together and help eliminate the diarrhea. I believe sorry, I got a bit distracted with my phone telling me that, and I was talking about was I talking about the tight junctures? Oh, you weren't listening.
I don't know.
I'll get it together. I swear. One of these days, I'm going to get it together. I was talking about how it's a great wound healer. It can be really helpful for somebody who is dealing with ulcers. It can help to heal and repair that kind of damage to the gut. It is an excellent anti-inflammatory, or even better said, it can help ease inflammation really nicely. It is cooling and somewhat demulcent. Yes, you totally hear Sarah's laugh. She's got her earphones in and is hanging out next to me doing some stuff. So that's really cool. So it's a demulcent, and that just means it's got this cooling, coating property to it. So if you think about inflammation, that is a hot condition. And if you're bringing in cooling, demulcent herbs and plants to help coat and cool and moisten those tissues, it can be really, really helpful. And now I remember what I was talking about when I got distracted. Apparently I haven't drank enough of my Where Is My Mind tea today, but I was talking about psyllium and how it's a bulking laxative that helps you to eliminate toxins up to 10 times its weight. And plantain is a cousin of the same psyllium, and it's those, like, the plantain flowers come up with these little teeny tiny little seeds, and that's pretty much what the psyllium seed is coming from as well, which is super duper cool. What else? Astringency, so it's going to tighten and tone those tissues, which is unique because astringent is a little bit of drying. If your tissues are loose and excessively moist, that astringency comes in and like tightens that up in a beautiful, beautiful way. Yet plantain is also moistening and hydrating and demulcent. So it kind of does this lovely little dance and knows how it needs to do it, where it needs to do it, and why. Hey, Amber, nice to see you here. So it's a really, really lovely plant in that realm. It's also a great antiseptic, and it can help with bleeding, both topically on the skin and internally for your gut, which is really, really beneficial. And the main reason I love it internally is really the wound healing properties, the way it can help heal and repair the damaged gut wall. It's not going to be able to do that if you keep throwing fire into the cauldron of your gut. So that, what I mean by that is if you keep putting things into your body that you know are causing inflammation in your body, that plantain is going to have a real hard time helping you heal your gut. So I think we in our society today really love to say, well, what can I use for this? And what can I use for that? And I hear it all the time, Mel, I've got this going on. Do you have an herb for that? That's not how herbs work. They're all very unique and wonderful plants, and they can be danced together in a myriad of ways with other plants or just as a simple and by themselves. But you are also a unique and wonderful being. The way those plants are going to interact with you and your body makes a huge difference. It can be very different from you or whoever is living inside of your house. So it is not a one pill fixes all kind of system in the world of herbalism, and that's really, really important to know. However, this plant, I think, is a miracle plant in so many ways. It's seriously one of my absolute favorite friends because it's so readily available. I use it for first aid all the time. I use it in my Digesties herbal tea, this one right here. It's in there to love your gut and ease digestion and help people deal with inflammation in the gut, things like that. So kind of rambly today. extra rambly. I don't even have my daughter to distract me in this video, but I'm still just rambling away at you. Hopefully you're getting something. Maybe you want to ask a question or something along those lines. Doing a live at 4 o'clock for me is kind of late. And I'm like, 4 o'clock, I'm usually done with work. My brain doesn't work very well after that. So, but I have so much passion and love for plantain that I'll just babble out some stuff. So in the springtime, plantain's going to be coming up soon. You're going to find it again in those sidewalk cracks or in the sides of dirt roads or in the middle of your yard. Do be cautious and aware. You know, hopefully you're not picking it where people have been walking all over it all the time, or maybe dogs are peeing on it, because then you're getting dog pee medicine and that's no fun. I like to make a tincture of plantain each year for first aid purposes. You can utilize it for getting inside the gut there too, but I would rather go with a tea or the powder and do the powder maybe in either a drink or some juice that's not too acidic, or some applesauce, or put it in a soup if you want. Yeah, Amber, it's actually very specific for people with Crohn's. And if you have Crohn's, you might want to stick around. I've got a pretty cool workshop I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks that's all about leaky gut and how you can use herbs to help heal it. Plantain is actually very specific for that, but that's one of the underlying situations happening with Crohn's. And we're going to really dive into that a lot more. And then in February, mid-February, I'm going to be doing a course on herbs for gut health. And we're going to talk a lot about the digestive system and how it works and how it's connected to your immune system, which, by the way, if you didn't know, 60 to 70% of all of your immune cells live in your gut, and 40 to 50% of all of your serotonin is made in your gut, which is this awesome neurotransmitter that helps with happiness and mood stabilization. So taking care of your gut is so important so that it can do its job, which is bringing food and nutrients and great herbal medicines into your body and into your bloodstream in the right way, not through the not so tight junctures that are caused by leaky gut. So we're going to dive a lot deeper in that course. And I think it's really empowering to know how all of those systems work and to like really be able to visualize it and see it and understand what causes inflammation and what can ease inflammation and how you can incorporate that more into your life, because then you're like, oh, holy crap, sugar makes all these chemical reactions going on that makes me want more sugar, and now my gut is all bloated and I'm pre-diabetic, and what the heck happened? It kind of, I feel like it motivates you to make the changes necessary. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent there. So plantain is definitely a good friend for you, girl. But, work with a great herbalist if you can find one. I know I'm here, but I'm not really working with people. So at this point in time, things may change though. You never know. I do have a few other people that you could work with in our community. I also know a few great naturopaths that can help in that realm too. So if you ever need recommendations in that world, let me know. I'm happy to help out for sure. And you can always get my digesties. It's super yummy, really, really delicious, and filled with plantain and calendula, both of which are great wound healers to help tighten up and tone the gut wall and all of that tissue. And it's got a bunch of other great herbs in there as well. But again, they don't all work the same for everybody. So yeah, use your weeds, eat your weeds. You can use plantain in a salad. You can eat it raw for sure. You can put it in a tea. You can harvest a bunch of it in the spring and throughout the summer. It's everywhere. Seriously, I wish it were available right now, because I would walk you outside and I would show it to you in the parking lot of my space where I live. Hey, Amy, how great to see you. But it's not, it's dead of winter, so they're not really out and about. And if they were, they would look like great poop. And I'd like you to actually recognize the plant. So look up Plantago, Plantago, Major, Major. You could say major if you want, but I like major. It makes me sound all fancy. So check that plant out. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. I use it in my essential salve and my afterburn for its skincare properties, which are phenomenal. It's just free medicine hanging out there just for you to use. Do, as you learn more and more about free medicine and the plants hanging out there, be very cautious and aware of your plant identification. This is a pretty easy one to identify, but this just goes in general. Make sure you know who you're harvesting. Make sure you're harvesting in an area that does not look like it's been polluted and that the plants are actually healthy and will make good medicine, because you don't want plants filled with all kinds of toxic, nasty crap. Kind of alleviate or eliminates the whole purpose of bringing plants as medicine into your body. And remember that the term anti-inflammatory, like herbs can't ease your inflammation unless you're going to do the work to put out the fire. Make sense? So stop putting inflammatory crap into your body as much as you can. Easier said than done. Perfect example right here. I totally get it. Totally get it. But food and plants and all of that stuff is just going to work a lot better if you're not feeding the fire all the time. So keep that in mind. Join my workshop coming up where I'll be a little less distracted. I'll be a little more focused. I'll have some pretty pictures for you, things like that. It's coming up in February. I can drop a link in these comments right now for you. Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm going to put a comment in it. Instagram comments, I'm sorry, I can't help you there, but I can maybe later if you want to DM me, I can drop that to you. So that's on YouTube. Let me see if I can make it happen in another land. I don't know. I've got this new software I'm playing with, and I might not be technologically advantaged enough to figure it out. So I can drop it in a little bit later and make it all good. You can sign up for it. Again, that's totally free, totally fun. At least it's fun for me. Hopefully it'll be fun for you too. If you haven't noticed, I way nerd out on this stuff. So give me just a second. I'm seeing if I can find another place to drop it for you. And if you've got questions right now, you are welcome to pop them into the comments. Now is for sure the time. So I've got it dropped into our Facebook group, which if you didn't know, I do run a Facebook group that is called the Herbalist Path. It's all about teaching people how to use plants as medicine and doing it safely and effectively, right? Because it's way better when you do it safely and effectively. Oh my gosh, I hear myself. Turning that off, getting out of there. I'm back. Howdy, Lisa. Hopefully you got my message last night. I hope you're doing well. I missed your sweet face. And if nobody has any questions, that was a very quick rundown of plantain, because what it does is so powerful, and I don't have to spend too long talking about it. But if you have questions, I will answer them now. If not, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go eat some yummy, nutritious food, and I am going to celebrate an evening in my home by myself with no 7-year-old. Not that that's like incredibly joyous or anything, but I do miss her. She's really sweet and cute, but I like peace too. Ooh, how would you make a tincture of it? Facebook user, I can't tell who you are, but if you were to accept StreamYard, it's the software I use to see what's going on here. I do the tincture in a very folk fashion. I grab some of the fresh plantain in the spring or the summer, and I put it into a jar, and then I pour some alcohol in it. You could go find an organic vodka or something like that at your local liquor store. I'm not sure of the exact extraction percentage off the top of my head right now, but I would go with about a 40%, which is what you're going to get out of your typical bottle of vodka. I encourage people to use really good quality boozes when you're doing the herbal infuses, because you don't want it to taste like crap. It tastes like crap, you're not going to use it. but I rarely ingest the plantain tincture. I prefer to use that for first aid situations. Like I've used it to extract, I had a blackberry thorn that was in the back of my leg that I didn't care about. And I decided to let it sit there and fester and get swollen and more inflamed. And then I used the plantain tincture on a cotton ball with a Band-Aid. And 30 minutes later, the blackberry thorn that had been stuck in my leg for a month came out, and it was about a 1/4 inch long. And out with it came all kinds of pus and nastiness. And then I've also used it on a rough and tough carpenter who was building a chicken coop on our land one time, and he got this gnarly splinter and he couldn't handle it. And I did the same thing. I did a little of the plantain tincture on a cotton ball, put a Band-Aid over it, and was like, okay, sit with that. We were cooking him some dinner. 10, 15 minutes later, like first he's looking at me like, okay, hippie freak Mel, whatever. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just like, do it. Just do what I tell you. And he peeled it off 15 minutes later, and the splinter was out of his skin, which is so cool. So yeah, I go very folky on making the tincture at this point in time, unless I am going to start producing it for sale for people. That's where I would get a little more formulaic with it. But yeah, if it's just for you and your family and your personal use, easy breezy. Go gather some, put it in a jar, pour some alcohol on it, shake it every day with love, sing to it, thank it. Thank it for being great medicine for you, for your family, for your friends. You don't need a lot. If you had like a pint jar, that would be more than enough for you for probably a couple years. And yeah, shake it on the daily, thank it, show gratitude, and then strain it in about 6 weeks. And you're going to have some awesome, awesome plantain tincture. Any other questions? Yep, about 6 weeks, Amber. How long do I let it sit in the alcohol? That's about how long. Actually, I'm very, very guilty of letting several of my tinctures sit with the plants in them until the jar is empty. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I'm definitely saying that's what I do. So, yay, Kendall says the stuff I made has been healing her wounds excellently. You can make it too. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. If there's no other questions, I'm going to boogie on out. And if you got them, pop them in here. I'll give another minute or so. And I wish you guys an incredible day. I apologize. I feel like I was kind of everywhere in that presentation, but it happens because I am human. Happy to be that way. And yeah, you have a beautiful and blessed day.